Oh my god, this is bright. Oh shit. All right, readjusting it. All right, cool. So I blow out the background real quick, like so. Today, I know it's been a minute, everybody. I appreciate everybody showing up, and let's kick it. You know what I mean? We're about to have a guest today, and we're gonna be talking about rappers and rich niggas. I don't know, hopefully that didn't get us demonetized, but we will find out. But our special guest is the infamous, famous, wealthy FD Signifier.
Oh man, my sound just went out that quick. What happened? Test, test. You hear me? Test, you hear me?
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I got okay. I just heard you.
Oh,
we got a bad lag, but it is what it is. And I also got echo coming.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm trying to fix that. I don't know why, but it went all of a sudden readjusted the audio to not the headphones. So I'm gonna fix it real quick.
No problem.
My stuff does weird things sometimes, unfortunately. All right, that sounds like say something.
Something. What are we doing?
The leg is crucial, but yeah, that is echo gone.
Test. Echo's gone.
Yeah, I can hear you, but I think yeah, the leg is crucial. Shoot, I don't know what we can do about it though.
Probably nothing. We'll just you know what? Just hold your hand up. We're gonna hold up hands while we talking, and then put the hand down when we're done to signal so I don't be interrupting you over and over again.
Okay, man. I guess we can try to do that. I feel like there's gonna be leg to the leg, though. You know what
I mean? Are you lagging to the chat?
Hold on, maybe
the chat say you lagging?
Yeah, let us know. Am I lagging or is it like just in between us? Shoot. It's out the way. Oh my god, all these pop-ups. Oh god. They want me to get antivirus, of course. Apparently they can't tell. Only we can tell. Hold on. Let me try to see if I can leave and come back in without it like completely.
Hey y'all, it's the FD show now.
Yes, you got to be the star for a second. Better?
That's much better.
All right, cool. Good. All right, bet. I'm sorry, y'all. Technical difficulties always is guaranteed with StreamYard. I promise you, there's no way around it. I don't know anybody who's been able to figure a way around it, but it's what it is.
Let me shout the stream out real quick. We're gonna get into some black bourgeoisie shit with the hip hop, right?
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about rappers and rich niggas. So like, we just get into it. You know what I mean? Ooh. I saw your specifically. I saw your thing on your B sides. I was like, oh yeah, we gotta talk about that.
Oh, with Killer Mike, who's the real Killer Mike?
Yeah.
You see, I talked to because I got into it more with Jab. Dr. Ball from Black Power Media just a couple of days ago, but I didn't put out the Killer Mike section. But he had beef with he had direct beef with Killer Mike. Killer Mike, let me tell you what Killer Mike did to this nigga. He said Killer Mike got on CNN or some shit and picked up a copy of Dr. Ball's book, which is the Myth of Black Buying Power, which is this explicitly anti-capitalist, anti-black bourgeoisie, black capitalist, black wealth, like succinct breakdown of some shit, and then picked up a Thomas Sowell book. and said, I'm trying to learn from both of these. And I'm like, I know he didn't do that. I got to see if there's a clip of it because I'm planning a Killer Mike video. I'm planning a centrist video, in fact.
Hair's looking crazy.
No, it's all good. I'm planning a centrist video now, in fact, but I don't know how to. I don't want to get too far into it because I'll talk about Killer Mike all day at this point. I don't even know what to do there.
Yeah, I mean, I want to go deeper than just Killer Mike, but yeah, Killer Mike. Oof. I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's
like
tough.
his takes are so bad. I can't.
It's hard to imagine that they're coming from the same person. You know what I'm saying? Who rapped about killing the police in like 2010 when it wasn't okay to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's wild. Not that I'm advocating for that. YouTube demonetization people and all that. I'm not saying that that's the thing we should be doing. I'm just saying that's a very radical stance to take in mainstream hip hop to then circle around and open a bank. A bank.
Man, that's what I'm saying. Like, look, not to open a bank, but like he got that pull your pants up type energy, you know what I mean? That like stop writing. How you can talk about Killer Compton and stop writing? Like, this don't make no damn sense. That's like backwards as hell, you know what I mean?
There's a whole song called Kill Your Masters. And then he has a song called Burn. He has a song called Burn. And the song's chorus is I will burn this motherfucker down.
Man.
But I'm gonna say that's a video for a later date because I gotta, because it's not just him. It's like this is not gonna be when I get to that, it's not gonna be too black focused because most centrists are white folks I want to talk about, but I think Killer Mike is a good conduit for it. But where else we going? I don't want to.
Okay, we just jumped into a little head of our planning, but it's okay. We get back. We're gonna touch back to that. But I want to start with the basics. The basics. You know what I mean? Like I said, introducing FD Signifier. I know y'all got a little screen time before I had to leg out real quick and come back. But the godfather of cornbread. Making shots called on people and stuff. I'm playing.
We chilling out on all that from here on out, man. I only want to bring up the way that nonsense has played out because we're beyond. If I say your name, it's a real problem going forward. I ain't saying no more names.
But I guess I want to start with this basic hip hop stuff real quick and ask you a quick. Who is your like most impactful 5, right? Like mainstream or well-known artists.
So most impactful, meaning like I see them impactful on me or impactful on hip hop?
On you. Like, you know what I mean? Because
on me. Common, Kanye, Lupe, there's a bunch of Chicago niggas. LP and Black Thought, Mos Def. They make sure I ain't thinking of I ain't missing nobody else in there. Kendrick. Do I want to get? I gotta get Kendrick his flowers. I think Kendrick is a GOAT. Is definitely a GOAT. So yeah. So Common, Kanye, Lupe, LP, Kendrick. Just pure hip hop nerd shit.
Yeah, I can fuck with those. You know what I mean?
Strong,
Kendrick,
I got hose energy.
I got real Kendrick. I gotta say. I was a bigger fan early on than later. You know what I mean? Lupe, I kind of went in and out on. Like sometimes the shit was hit, and sometimes it just was not there for me. You know what I mean? I was like,
it is, yeah. He's inconsistent as hell.
But I gotta say for mine, I gotta be like, it's Pac. I know it's stereotypical, but like Pac, DMX.
A West Coast nigga said Pac. What? No. Go ahead. So Pac, DMX.
So I'm gonna give my reasons for him. So Pac, well, I mean that's just self-explanatory. He did a lot. And people don't give him his flowers in some ways. Like they'll give him his flowers, but then they'll strip it. They'll be like, "Oh, he wasn't." Like even I heard Daruba try to strip him of his flowers a little bit. I'm like, no, you can't take. He did some shit. We can't deny that shit. You know what I mean? He was like, he was doing some organizing on the low. He wasn't just talking out his ass. He was trying to like make a gang truce and the prison code, literally prison code. You know what I mean?
Pac doesn't get enough credit for being more relevant now. And you would think from my generation, like Pac was it for the millennials, older millennials, Gen X, he was it. But I feel like he's diminished. I feel like I don't know. But maybe we're just old. I don't know. I imagine in my head that Pac should be bigger than he is now. And then when you get to his politics, it's even more serious as to why. Damn, that may have to be a video. And it's funny because I was never a huge Pac fan. I was the only person in my entire like world peer view that was like okay on Pac. But I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No. I mean, here's the thing: is like, I think Pac does get hella love now, given the generation. Like, I think he gets more love than any rapper from that generation. Period. Still to this day, I will say Pac definitely gets more love. But as far as like in the political ciphers, he gets slept on. They're like, oh, he's just a rapper. And I'm like, yes, he was just a rapper. But in context of just a rapper, he made some serious moves for the fucking people. Like, yeah. So I can't, you can't just take that away from him. No matter, I'm not getting all the controversy and shit. That's a whole other thing that I literally only do if I was going to put a whole stream to it because he too heavy. You know what I mean? But then there's DMX. DMX, from my standpoint, the number 2 is for the forsaken children, right? As somebody who's like a forgotten, thrown away kid, DMX was the motherfucker, bro. Like, and not just his gangster shit, but like Slippin' was like the song. I played it on repeat so many times through so many bad times. I can't take that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of folks. DMX, and it's rough because for some of those same reasons with Pac, I was introduced to XXXTentacion, and he was kind of shaping up to be this generation's DMX, and it got whipped out the frame because when I was working in like when I was doing like, you know, Fulton County, chop that out. When I was doing court cases and working with kids under defects and whatnot, like so many little boys, that was their person because he had in that generation, because I never really got too much of his sound, but that energy of like, this is a forgotten, thrown away kid that is still struggling. I wish he wasn't as much of a monster that he kind of became at different times in his life, but I also think understanding where that existed is important, you know?
I mean, if I'm gonna be a bug with you, and this might make some enemies, but I think the problems I disliked about DMX is literally rooted from his Christianity, right? So when we talk about his homophobia and shit, it's rooted from his Christianity. That's what's found fundamental what it is. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then so I mean, but as a forsaken kid, I'm never gonna throw him away, despite being queer myself. I'm not gonna still throw that cat away or his music away because it meant a lot to me in a given time. You know what I mean? It helped me get through a lot. You feel me?
You can't throw a bag of CDs from the 90s and not hit 55 homophobic people. Like every CD. And it ain't this new homophobia that's like tongue in cheek. It's like, no, some of them motherfuckers was intense. Like,
I mean, look,
the Caribbean influence.
I defend my hip hop, but I'll say you can't throw a bag of CDs of any music from that time period without hitting
or movies.
Yeah, like it's just not gonna happen.
Or comedians, yeah.
And then I think 3 would be Bone Thugs. You know what I mean? Bone Thugs go hard. I mean, I almost never give Bone Thugs their flower, but when I think about how much of like impact and hard times it got me through, and you know what I mean, like, and how many times when you need to like throw your chin up and knuckle up, that got me through to with like No Surrender, for example. When you had to throw your chin up and knuckle up, you're like, bro, all right, that was the cut. You know what I mean? And then we get into people that people might not have heard of. Like, I don't know if you ever heard of Kala.
No.
Like, Kala's like a UK rapper. Like, he's pretty big. His sister was Lady Dynamite. But he goes super hard on like some political stuff. He's like one of the biggest, I think, political artists, but he's more like the UK, not over here. Like, a lot of people over here don't know who he is. I know because I used to fuck with Immortal Technique super hard, which I'm not a big fan of anymore. And another person that people might not know who they are.
What did Immortal Technique do? I don't be paying attention. Did he?
Okay, so
he didn't go right wing, did he? I can't imagine.
Look,
I know some of them dudes have, but
he's Cap, and okay, so that's all personal experience. So break down about Immortal Technique real quick is like my feelings about him is like, first off, I got like, he helped politicize me when I was in prison. Like some of the music I heard in LA, because I was like I was in Victorville, so I was like in LA County type shit, like in the San Bernardino County, but like you got a lot of LA music and stuff like that. So I was hearing a lot of him, and I went to his show and I told him like, yo, you helped politicize me, whoop de whoop. I shook his hand. This was like after the show, and he like snuffed me, he was like, huh, and like just walked off with some attitude and shit. I was like, all right, bet. Now the circle, his homies, they were dope as fuck because I was also, by the way, I was there on crutches. Like literally one, like my torn meniscus and shit. So I'm on one leg. They're like, "Oh shit! If we would have seen that, we would have brought you on stage." But afterward, when he came out, and I told him like, "Look, you help inspire me." This is why I really like got upset about, because like you help inspire me get on political shit through your music when I was in prison. And he just snuffed me and laughed at me. I was like, "What? Like really?" I mean, maybe it's because you don't think I look like I've been to prison, but yo, I've been like.
Was he high or something? Like I don't even know.
I mean, he was pretty drunk, but he was just being a dick. You know what I mean? He was being a dick for no reason. I'm like, look, you're in a show full of white folks. I'm like one of the only people color in that fucking show, period. Much less one of the only black people in the fucking show. And then you're gonna snuff me? Okay, bet. All right. But then when Occupy came around, he was making this little tour going to all the Occupies. Then when he saw me in Occupy, he was like, "Yeah, brother." People out the people that just like all and shit. I was like, I remember you. I know you don't. I'm just a random fan. You don't remember me, but I remember you, dickhead, fake ass motherfucker. He came around, showed up for like 5 minutes, and walked off. You know what I mean? He
was getting interviews on CNN and shit.
Got a little photo op in, so I like him from that point. But then my homies, who I'm gonna give a shout out at some point, Savage Fam, who are semi popular, way more popular than I've become thus far, but. They do a lot of frontline organizing. So they saw him at when they came to Standing Rock and they were like, you know, doing shit on some militant shit. And like, why don't you stay and organize with us then? And he was like, "Oh, I got to go on tour. I can't really do that right now." And he basically was trying to come perform and leave. You know what I mean? And it was like, bruh. So I think it's a joke. I'm like, you're a joke to me. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I understand. I just always thought he was a little too conspiracy super miracle. Like conspiracies plus lyrical miracle never really hit well for me. I need one or the other. And like and clearly I feel like, well, you know, I can't name no names off the top of my head, but I feel like a lot of them, the conspiracy lyrical miracle crew, like I feel like a third of them are Trump voters at this point. Like I can't substantiate that, but that's just the vibe I got from that era. Like it's probably not Brother Ali or Blue or anyone, but like somebody from that like late 2000s era of like the emergence of underground into like not a mainstream. What happened there? Like the underground kind of, you know, that's one of the reasons why I say LP, because like I don't think LP gets enough credit for like, you know, not paving the way for the underground, but like creating such a wave in it, you know. So I remember like Cage and Company Flow and the Weatherman and I'm about to call him ASAP Rock, right? And then, you know, Cannibal Ox, Brother Ali. There's a bunch of us. It's a bunch of underground. Like I thought I was like low key done with hip hop, and then like all that happened, and I jumped right back in. You know, it's weird, but
see, I mean, I think also we gotta divide like the revolutionary rappers and like the conscious rappers. So it's not necessarily the same thing. Like I put myself in the revolutionary rapper category. I'm not posy enough to be in the like conscious rapper. Like everything's gonna be better. Like the lovey-dovey. There's kind of that energy where I'm like, nah, we gotta tear shit up, bro. Like that's the energy like I make with a mind. So like I feel like I put myself in that camp, but I think Immortal Techniques is like more revolutionary rapper camp, and then put it all these more in the conscious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. That makes sense.
And like but you know, I got something for you. But my fifth one is Shaman, which people probably never heard of, which kind of like inspires me around my artistry a little bit. My darker vibes and shit that he be like rocking as well. All right. Now here's one that's like, you know, controversial take only. What's the most overrated rappers, the top two most overrated rappers in your opinion?
See, I was going like, had we not said anything good about Pac 10 minutes ago, I might have said Pac. I'm still gonna say Pac. Say Pac. Pac's music, his whole what's the word? Discography is not as good. You had to have been there. So anybody in the chat that's about to slander me, you had to have been there.
Blasphemy.
You don't understand. how much Pac ran the 90s. Like that era between maybe 90 and when he passed away, and then for years after he passed away, when they kept bringing out the same 5 songs with different beats. It was a struggle for me as a person. It was so blasphemic to not like Pac while I was growing up. And like people would put on Pac and they would start crying, and niggas would start hugging each other and start talking revolution and change in the community. And I'd be like, yeah, that's cool. That's cool, yo. Can you throw in that Black Rob, that whoa real quick? I want to do a stroll. I just wasn't there. So probably Pac. And this is 2 things to be true at once. Everything I just said a second ago is, I still believe, just musically speaking, it just wasn't for me. Who else is super overrated? I mean, like, is it even like a take to say Drake is overrated?
I wouldn't argue that. I mean,
like Drake is, since I got to take a chance to hate on Drake. I haven't done it in a while. He deserves it. The love of Drake by white hip hop fans is the worst thing to happen to hip hop since the love of white people for NWA. like Drake, because at least NWA was still radical and subversive. So there was like at least opportunity there. They were manufactured, right? But
the only real one was Eazy-E.
The only real one was Eazy-E, and then they turned on him, and they got mad at Eazy-E for chasing the bag. So like, at least still there was some like radical element to that era and what they were doing. Whereas Drake is genuinely just the most defanged. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Drake is genuinely hip hop with everything even remotely radical or subversive or punk or anything stripped out, packaged perfectly for consumption by his white fan base. That's why he does a reggae and then an Afro beat and then a New Orleans bounce. He's giving white folks all the sounds of blackness that they never even heard, but in a perfect package thing. He ain't even put Big Frida on the track. Did he put Big Frida on the track? He might have. You know what I'm saying? Like,
okay, I will give you this. Drake is what it looks like when black people culturally appropriate. That's what it looks like.
It is.
Man, I'll be real with you, man. Drake's a mess. Okay, now I gotta make you scream blasphemy a few times. So my 2 would have to be Jay-Z off top, most overrated. Like,
that's fair.
Like his rhymes aren't that good in my opinion. I'm like, man, he didn't sound that good in my opinion ever since day one. And then it's just like, oh, I was a dope dealer, so I'll admit all this money. Now look at me, I fuck with like war criminals and shit. Look how much I've excelled. You know what I mean? And then it's like Eminem. I like everybody. This is like where everybody's get hella mad, but I'm like, no. And I will never be someone who said he didn't have a place in hip hop. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think he's losing. He's getting his card pulled a little bit after the Lord Jamar shit. But here's the thing: he was the jester, and then he started thinking he was the king or the god of hip hop, which is you lost your damn mind. And so for me, he got like overrated because not that he didn't belong there, but you were a jester. You're like towards the bottom of the pedestal. We watched you, and we listened to you because you were funny, because we thought the shit you said was hella ridiculous. You know what I mean? Not because you were talented. You know what I mean? And so then
okay.
Oh shit!
I got a new cat. Literally this weekend, he popped up on our porch, and this is his first day being allowed to walk around the house. And he's only 5 months old, and he's learning. We'll see how this goes. So, so I agree with all of that. Did Eminem think he was? I guess he probably did start smelling himself a little bit. He had
rap god. That
was way after he was. I don't know. See for me. So I agree with your overall critique. I don't know if M ever truly thought he was the king of hip hop. He definitely thought he was the best rapper. So I'll give you that. And so I don't know if being the king of hip hop and thinking you're the best rapper are the same. But I also don't know if actually it's funny because I'm finally gonna do the white rapper video. And I had to like sit down and like I read some critiques about Eminem. Okay. Give me 1 second to put him up.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm just keep talking shit about Eminem. Most overrated. He made lyrical miracle a bad word. That's what happened. I'm saying that to everybody who's watching right now. He made lyrical miracle a bad word. It is Eminem's fault.
Now he's probably going to start crying from the pantry, but we'll see.
So like I was saying, Eminem. Oh no, I was just saying Eminem made just because I was talking shit behind when you were here. I was saying Eminem made lyrical miracle a bad word.
He did. Definitely. Did you see my cannabis joint?
Yeah, I saw that for sure.
Yeah. That was exactly my point. It's like if lyrical miracle wasn't bad until Eminem inspired. Eminem's a really like I give Eminem once I sat down and I really did a bunch of research a couple of weeks ago. And after doing research, I'm seeing Eminem more as like a tragic figure versus like the jester burnout that he's like seen as now. Because you still with me?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. You said it perfectly still. Because like when I think like if you think about the way Eminem moved during his heyday and especially his come up compared to how white rappers move now, he gave so much more respect to like the fact that he was a guest versus like Jack Harlow. I don't know if I listened to his last project and he has a song where it's low-key him complaining that people talk about the fact that he's white is a privilege to him in hip-hop. And it's like, Jack, shut the fuck up. Like what are you talking about? And I think his career is over now, to be honest with you, unless he can find another hit with Drake or something. And Drake don't mess with people as they're going down. He only gets you while you're coming up. But yeah, so there's more to Eminem's legacy in terms of like that in particular that gets left out because he's so cringy. His homophobia was top tier. And you know, he left the legacy like we don't have Tom McDonald without Eminem, you know. So like there's a lot of problems there.
He opened the floodgates. I will say this though. There's like a level of things, right? So I feel like there's floodgates, open floodgates, right? So first it was like the letting non-street niggas in, right? Like black people that ain't street niggas, especially ones that perpetrate, I think was the first one. Was the first floodgate, right? Yeah. It was the first floodgate opening, right? And then it was like the openly square motherfuckers that like, you know, gonna talk about some super nerd shit, you know what I mean? That was another floodgate. Then they opened, then Eminem slid up in there, and as a response to that, like Eminem, the floodgates for the white folks just came in and like, oh, we can accept white rappers now. Like, bro, it's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to be like only the few make it out of that because you're jumping in something that is not yours. So you're supposed to have to pay respect. You're supposed to be able to have to hold your own, and you're supposed to have to advocate for our people, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I know people hate Russ, but I give Russ more credit than I give most of these white rappers out here because he'll at least speak on some shit. When
Why do people hate Russ? I don't pay enough attention. I have never even heard a song from him, but I know he's not liked.
He whines a lot. He whines about like, oh, y'all don't want to let me in, blah blah blah. He does a lot of that shit. You know what I mean? So he does like he knows people because of that. But as far as him like giving respect to where it's due, he's quick to be like, this is black art. You know what I mean? This is like I'm guess. You know what I mean? And talk about black issues. You know what I mean? Be like, and not like in a way he's like overstepping, like just call shit. You know what I mean? And so I got some respect for him. Now he carries himself in a way that pisses everybody off. That's just what it is. You know what I mean?
I got a new favorite white rapper for you.
Oh shit.
He popped up somewhere. He's from New York. And he's dope. I haven't given him a super ton of time because I just don't listen to music like I used to. But the fucked up thing is I keep forgetting his name. Let's see if I can find it. Damn, I swear I tried to like this motherfucking shit on Spotify, so I would stop losing it. And every time I lose him, he's a no, it's not LP. LP, I just put him on one of my favorites. He's a tall, light skin, tall, like he looked like he might be Italian. Marlon Craft.
Oh, I've been about knowing about Marlon Craft for a minute.
I just found out about
bro.
him.
Like he had this one about like gang shit. You should check out gang shit. Gang shit's pretty hard.
Whenever I'm alone in my car again, I'll get back into it.
He's been around a minute. And the answer is we're gonna get to that. Don't worry, we're gonna get to that. Because we asked about do we know about what we think about Dead Prez, and we're about to get to that. So I actually wanted to hop on before we get to like the real topic. Got two more questions, then we'll get into like the just go in. You know what I mean? But I wanted to see what your 3 favorite revolutionary rappers are. Like that are known, like known revolutionary rappers, like they're actually kind of popular. You know what I mean?
So it probably begins. Who would really count? So we got Dead Prez,
or most impactful to you. Not that's their favorite.
So it starts with Dead Prez, but I don't know who would count there. Who I would fairly give that moniker to, and I wouldn't even trust my own discernment there. So I would start with Dead Prez. It's probably Pac. Who's really talking that shit? Public Enemy? That's all I got. Not Jizza, Killer Priest. Was Killer Priest on that shit? I don't know.
I'm surprised you gave it to Pac. I don't even put Pac on that list, to be real with you.
Well, like I said, I don't have a bona fides for to really answer that one. You know, I was part of the nerdy. I was sitting there listening to all the hardcore hip hop in my spirit, unknowingly waiting on Kanye West. So like, I appreciated the revolutionary shit, and I was in there, but I wasn't in there like I probably would be now. You know, so
okay. So you're gonna hear some names that you've heard before. Akala, I'd say again. You should really peep Akala. You know, they fuck with Dead Prez, they fuck with Moral Technique, so on and so forth. Number 2 would be Dead Prez. I mean, Dead Prez might be number 1. I don't know. It alterates my mood. You know what I mean? It switches. Akala, I think is more. He like revolutionary, but he's also like conscious. You know what I mean? He rides that. He's like more posy. You know what I mean? To some degree, or more introspective. Like he does a lot about like he has a song completely about like the way we interact specifically around patriarchy. He didn't use the word patriarchy, but he just I don't know. You'd have to like hear the song, but like you know what I mean. And then number 3, as much as I don't like him as a person, I would say since I'm doing impactful, not actually favorite, I'd have to say Immortal Technique because it made a big impact on me. Not necessarily my favorite person.
You separate. I don't always believe in separate the person from the art, but that's still a valid thing to do a lot of times.
Okay, and then what about 2 revolutionary artists that you could think of that you think this shit that people should know about that nobody knows about, or very few people know about? They can be like semi-popular.
So one is new folks I just found. Infinity Knives. I shouted them out in that same video about Killer Mike. They're I think they only have one album. And they're like the first lines is like fuck the Clintons, fuck the whatever. Like it starts out right. I'm like, oh yeah, we in there. And somebody I just started listening to today, I'll give a shout out to. You might know it's Backwash. Are you familiar with her?
Nah, I've heard her.
Backwash is a black film. I think I'm guessing their gender here, but they're like it's kind of like one part. What's the people everybody likes, but I don't like them? Fantano loves them. All the white folks love them, and a couple of black folks love them. And it's like this weird, grungy, sludge hip hop / metal.
Is it
Ex-Military?
Like
is it one of their first albums? Ex-Military.
I don't know.
They haven't dropped anything in a while. Let me just look it up. It's Ex-Military is the first album. Death Grips. She's like one part Death Grips, one part
Oh, yeah, that's who I was thinking of, but I couldn't remember their name.
Yeah. And one part something else, but it's Death Grips adjacent. Like one part Death Grips, one part Billy Woods, maybe. But she was talking some serious stuff on what I was just listening to, but I haven't soaked her in a ton.
I mean, okay, so I'd have to go for my two. Number one that people have never heard of. And despite actually the baby came out of doing collabs with them and shit like that before the baby got all weird and shit. But it's the cat De Niro Ferrar. I don't know if you ever heard De Niro Ferrar, but they're worth checking out. It's like they're definitely like on some street nigga shit, but they also like very political. You know what I mean? A lot of references to UEP, a lot of like just dropping knowledge, but trying to like come from a street perspective at the same time, which I hella appreciate. You know what I mean? There's not enough of that. And then also another people that people didn't know about and check out, which is also the homies. So I am biased, but I was fans before I actually knew them. So which is Savage Fam. So they're like native they're native and they're before like Native Liberation. You know what I mean? So and then of course, you know, don't forget about me, Big Villainous.
I was about to say, gotta shout out Big Villainous. You got like 3 albums, right?
I only claim one of them, but yes, I have 3. The first 2 are kind of boo-boo.
It's all good, man. I mean, like you know.
About that 4. There's a new one coming out. 5 Rings specifically. But I've been bouncing around, so it's been hard to make it happen. So it's been a little slower. I want to drop it early summer, but it's looking at like the end of summer. You know what I mean? But woof. Also, shout out to my homie Sly, even though they make the list, Sly da Silva. If you want to see the white rapper that I co-sign, who is the villain of hip hop. Also another person I want to shout out, though I don't actually know them, is Hassan Salam, which also came out with the Moral Technique.
I know that. Okay, yeah, it might be one of them.
They're pretty dope.
I know that name.
They're pretty dope. Okay, so let's get into the meat though now. Well, we've been like just BSing a little bit, getting warmed up. So I remember the one part in when you talk back in I forgot his name now. The rapper we started off talking about. Killer Mike, yeah. When we talk about Killer Mike, right? There was a point.
Is the cat like? Can y'all hear the cat wailing in the background?
A little bit.
That's awful. He's fine. I promise you, he's fine. He's just in a pantry right here. Fuck. Damn.
I want to be a star too. All right, we're about to meet y'all. We're about to get some heated shit. You know what I mean? We're ready to jump.
I gotta record a video later. I don't know what I'm about to do. I'm gonna have to have my wife down here entertaining him while I record. She needs to record a part for me anyway.
They're like, I'm a kid and I need to be the star of the show.
Right. Let me just give him a hand and hopefully he'll be entertained.
So I want to dive in. No. We get. I just want to. While I still have you, I want to dive into like the meat of what made me want to have this conversation. So the Killer Mike shit. I remember you said you can only expect so much from rappers. And I wanted to push back on that a little bit. I'm like, no. I feel like we should have the same energy we had, especially originally, for gangster rappers as revolutionary rappers. If you ain't doing shit, you should get no support. You should be like, nah, man, you out here fraudulent. You know what I mean? You can't like Killer Mike. Like, what has he done? Not only is like bad takes are one thing, but also what have you really done besides like talk about it and make yourself rich and hang out with other rich black people?
Yeah, he's what makes him so much worse. So a more refined version of that take for is like for other rappers, I wouldn't expect better because other rappers don't talk that shit. So you make a good point. For Killer Mike, he needs all the smoke because he low-key built his. I talked about he has three different careers, but from the second to third career into this fourth, well, the fourth it may be MAGA rap. Next thing you know, you about to scratch the shit out of me when you fall because you are a clumsy kitten. When he gets to his MAGA rap era, then it might be over. Okay. I'm so sorry. But like he got big talking that shit, right? Yeah. Like Killer Mike made talking that shit his thing. He made Reagan. Nobody told him to make Reagan, Mike was one of the first rappers in the mainstream to come and say some shit about Obama. Like he might have did it before Lupe did, you know? So like he was on a radical bend before that was even like a gimmick, as if it was really him. And then like, let me tell you what he just did here in Atlanta, or what just happened here in Atlanta. So we have this black business club called the Gathering Spot. Well, it's not something he did, but he's responsible for it. And this is like the insidious and problematic part. So we have this black business club called the Gathering Spot in Atlanta. And it's just okay, you can't boost the mic. Okay. I'm a professional. That's my coffee. Hold up. All right. Let me figure this out because I got to tell this story. Let me figure this out real quick.
Look, the cat is like, I am the star, and you are mentioning rappers without mentioning me. You hear me put out songs all day long. See, look, they're about to get up on the mic right now. See, hopping on the mic. That cat is not playing. They're like, I'm stealing the show for real. Man, I want to hear this Killer Mike story though, because I know more of the dirt on the Killer Mikes. You know what I mean? Like, I need more of that dirt. All right. I think we're back with FD.
All right. So Atlanta, as you know, is like the home of the black capitalists, the black excellence, the black bourgeoisie. We call it Wakanda, sometimes unironically. And there's this business club that I've been to plenty of times called the Gathering Spot. And it's just a place where black entrepreneurs and professionals gather and collaborate. And it's a cool little thing. And it's like the type of stuff that you would want to see if you didn't think about the like undercurrent of like hypercapitalism connected to it. So the Gathering Spot was bought by Greenwood Bank earlier this year. This is an all-black organization, all-black everything from the Raiders to the executive board. And they're bought by Greenwood. And I don't know if for those who don't know, Greenwood is not a bank and it's not black owned. Greenwood is fintech, which basically just means it's an app. It's Cash App. You know what I'm saying? And it's people that own the Greenwood app are black, but Greenwood app is backed by Coastal Banking Solutions, which is a traditionally all-white banking bank firm or whatever, I think somewhere on the West Coast. And so when Greenwood Bank buys this, the Gathering Spot, that really means it was bought by this white bank. And here's why it's so insidious and why you're correct in your take about like, if you're going to talk that shit, you got to be about it. Because Killer Mike sold Greenwood Bank as a revolutionary act. He sold it as liberation through black capitalism. And there's enough black bourgeoisie folks that bought into it, literally. And over the weekend, the board or admin or whatever of the Gathering Spot, this black-owned, black-ran, black head-to-toe organization, fired the CEO and put a white man in his place. And then they released a statement, and the statement was what hit people the hardest. So this thing is all black. It's been all black the whole time. Black excellence, black commerce, black business, black entrepreneurship. And now they're talking about diversity. And I was like, "Ooh, y'all go diversity." So we just white now. Because nobody use diversity except for white people. You know what I'm saying? And it's like that is the danger of, reappropriating these radical politics and using them to get black folks, the handful of black folks with money, like you gonna take their money and do some bullshit with it. Like that's,
And I mean, I think also like just on the attention economy, not even on the like scandalous shit, we should be supporting people who actually do what they talk about. You know what I mean? Shit's gonna be braggadocious. Some motherfuckers gonna be talking about like blowing up precincts or something, and they're not really doing that. But if they're not really moving towards like actively in the streets doing abolition work, actively like making things happen. And I'd argue, even if you're gonna go as hard as being in braggadocious, like you blow shit up type shit, maybe expect they have been or are currently are frontliners. You know what I mean? Someone who's actually put their neck on the line and been willing to catch them possible felonies, possible like real risks,
terrorist charges here in Atlanta.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, to make moves. You know what I mean? If they're not someone who's done that, maybe we should be like, nah, you can't be repping it like that. You got to rep it the way you move. You know what I mean? And I think that's something, you know, because gangster rap held that down for a long time. And I feel like there's some legitimacy to that. I think, honestly, gangster rap should be able to do that too. But like, nah, if you can't be up in here, you're not going to get sales. We're not going to make it comfortable for you. If you're going to be trying to be perpetrating, you're not that. And I think the same thing is because also when you feed people who are dedicated to the movement, like, because let's be real, you're feeding these people, right? You get like, he's eating off of this, right? Then they'll put some of that money back into the movement. If it's not all, some of it might go is going to go to them, of course, because they're making art, they're trying to make a living, right? But if you got someone who's actually in a movement, they're going to reinvest into the movement, reinvest and build up a thing. But if you're somebody who just takes from it and doesn't do any organizing, doesn't build or nothing, they're not going to reinvest in the movement. They're going to buy themselves a better house. They're going to buy themselves a better car. They're going to buy, you know, they're going to create another better business, you know what I mean, for themselves, make themselves more money.
Yeah.
For example, let me use myself for example. If I was to like blow up or whatever, I'm gonna invest in business and stuff, but where am I gonna put the money when I make the profits? Into organizing. Well, who am I gonna employ? Ex-cons, people getting out of prison, people who do organizing work if it's something that's applicable to that, you know what I mean, and so on and so forth. But
and that's, you said a bunch of stuff. It was one thing in particular I wanted to respond to, and I'm drawing a blank. What it speaks to though, I think, is the problem is that revolutionary and more radical elements have been so marginalized that we don't have like the power to even say anything. You know what I'm saying? Like some people were like, now some black folks are calling out Killer Mike, and I think there's like maybe momentum for that. You know, I'm very proud of like the response to the Black Conservatives video. I wasn't talking too greasy, but like I think it was a pretty subversive video to be made about black politics to get the positive response it got. So I'm hopeful for that, but the reality is Mike, hell, not even Mike now, who's, I don't know, No Name might be about as subversive as it gets. And I fucks with No Name overall, but you know, she ain't came out with an album, you know what I'm saying? Like, and she's marginalized in hip hop overall. Like, so and then the streets, the key is that the streets controlled access to the commodity. So they don't do it anymore. All that stuff you said earlier about like what Eminem did, that did this, that did this, that did this. So like they lost their power in that process. But the streets and the real, you know, goons that was in the streets, they controlled the flow of resources and attention and commodities in hip hop to a good extent. If you was trying to get on and you were a rapper and you was trying to be like this, and the studio wanted you to be a street rapper, your label wanted to turn you to a street rapper, like, I don't know, insert so many rappers from that era, then you had to get a goon to co-sign you. You know what I'm saying? That's what freaking, speaking of Drake, that's what what's dude in Texas name? Jay Prince. Like that was Jay Prince's role. You know what I'm saying? Was to be like, all right, he cool. You know, if you went to Texas as a rapper, you went to Houston, you had to check in with Jay Prince to make sure you was cool with whatever street shit that was happening in Houston. Versus like if we, you know, revolutionaries, if we had that type of power, we wouldn't be using it for hip hop.
But I'm just saying. I mean, look, I think we can do all of them, right? Because I think revolutionary is a lot of faces. You know what I mean? A lot of different aspects. You know what I mean? There are people who are revolutionary that are rappers, and there are people who are revolutionary that are other types of artists, or revolutionaries that are fucking doctors. You know what I mean? I think more rare, but you know, there are a few. You know what I mean? And so I think there's like different components to it, right? Because I do think we could move like the Panthers did, right? I don't know if you ever heard about what happened to the Paper Panthers, but they ran up on the niggas like, no, yeah, they were doing a whole bunch of BS, like pushing their papers but not doing anything else, and like have they call themselves the Black Panthers as well, but they weren't doing anything, right? So Black Panther rode up on them like, look, you gotta change your name. Like, you can't rock the name, period, in the story. And they're like, oh, or what? I was like, and they're beating their ass. Like, this is what? Like, what you ain't gonna be calling it. And so they should, and one of the references, they called them the Paper Panthers because it's all just paper, it's all like rhetoric.
Passing out flyers.
Rhetoric. It's all just rhetoric. It wasn't really about doing any work. So they're like, boom. And I think that same energy could happen, especially in hip hop. I think what it is also is for people to give the props to those who earn it, right? Because there are people who are bigger who have earned it, right? Like I was saying, we're going to touch on Dead Prez. I don't know about Stick, and those Stick is my favorite out of the two of them rap wise, but I know for a fact M1 be out here doing shit. I know for a fact I've seen him out here. I've met M1. I've been coming to spaces that were Black power spaces, right? That were specifically they were like 5%ers or whatever, but they were like
it's in the mix. That whole
it's Black.
Yeah,
with different politics. I don't have to say.
I don't think Dead Prez are 5%ers.
I think M1 fucks with a bunch of 5%ers though.
I mean, it's hard not to fuck with 5%ers if you were any type of Black radical political space. You were in the Northeast. You ran with some 5%.
No, but he came all the way out here to fuck with White King and them. You know what I mean? I met him through White King. Now, like, and I don't know, you probably know who White King is, but like, there's
I'm assuming he's a 5%er though.
Yeah, he is. You know what I mean? He's and they got Black Power Epicenter and stuff like that out here and stuff like that. So now their politics, real quick, I don't fully fuck
urge in the icebox. There will never be a 5%er video from FD Signifier. I am not. I already talked about Farrakhan. That's as transgressive as I'm getting to the old heads that still know where I live. And
I'm just saying, unless you want to talk, you talking about some gang shit, bro. I'm trying to tell you, 5%ers, depending on which faction you're talking about, they get down. So like they'll get hot. They're not Nation of Islam. They'll get hot. You know what I mean? So, but I do want to give M1 his credit though, because he puts in that work and he shows up in things he believes in, even though it's not the same shit I believe in. He shows up for shit and that's respect, no matter what. Even if it ain't the same political alignment as me, it's respect because there's so few artists to do it. I think giving that clout and giving that energy to those type of folks, and also, let's be real, really evaluating the motherfuckers making profits off this in the first place to make sure they're actually for not only the struggle but for the people. Because I even get to a point where past the revolutionary rappers, past people who spin that shit, like, bruh, I don't think Jay-Z should have been able to move the way Jay-Z moves, right? I don't think that should be thing. Like, no, you're supposed to be for our people. Regardless, you made this music off of our struggle as a people. Yes, your struggle, but it's also a collective struggle. So you should have like solidarity, not partnering with Barclays and shit. You know what I mean? Not like the things where you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go like help the gentrifiers fuck up my own neighborhood. Yeah,
for a fraction of a percent. And that's the thing, though. That's why like I'm so happy that that Black Conservatives video did what it did, or had the response, I should say, that it had, because that's only possible. I make this clear. You know, I don't consider myself revolutionary, and I'm just stepping into leftist politics in the last 5-6 years, right? You know, like a lot of old millennials, I went into Obama with an image of the world, and I came out looking for a new one. And in that time frame, started reading and shit, like a lot of motherfuckers do. But before then, I was in that Black excellence. Let me see if I turn my mic this way. You get less of the cat, because the wife couldn't hold him down for too long. What was I saying though? Oh, that the black excellence thing is so insidious and so powerful and useful to capital, because capital invests in it, and then there's money to be made. So we celebrated Jay-Z buying the Nets, right? Nobody read the fine print. Everybody just heard a Black man was buying an NBA team, and damn it, don't it make sense that we can. And I think that that fuckhead in California was getting in trouble at around the same time. I don't remember his name. He used to own the Clippers. And so like, you mean to tell me a black man is gonna own an NBA team, and so finally these niggas can work for an actual black person and not just give all that money to a bunch of white people, et cetera, et cetera. And so we cheered that on, and then we heard it was a fraction. It was like, well, it's still okay. And then you like see the aftermath, and you start to see the pattern, and then you got to become critical. And that's why he was able. But I say all that to say he was able to get away with it because he was in the bag the whole time, because the system was set up to reward his, you know, he's a what is PASS will call them? PMCs. I don't remember what that stands for though. Private managerial class.
Okay.
Professional managerial class. He is a hip hop professional managerial class. His job was to be in a position to moderate more radical and agitating elements of hip hop for an era. Hell, because Kanye was an agitator initially. He may have been like a weird, you know, soft boy early on, but he was an agitator. He was doing shit that other niggas wouldn't do in hip hop for the first like 5-6 years of his career. And they didn't want him on. You know what I'm saying? Him and Dame did not want to put Kanye on. And then, you know, of course, later Kanye, I'm not talking about. I just want to be very clear to any actually motherfuckers in the chat. So that was his job. And so now he's selling this black excellence mythos, that whole verse with on that God Did song on DJ Khaled. Have you heard that? Mm-mm. He spits like 48 bars, and it's all look how I made it through capitalism. I'm a billionaire now bars. And it's insidious. And people were like, yo, this is the best verse he ever had. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's talking about making money and being a billionaire again. All right. I'll let y'all have it. You know, I'm sorry, Blue Food. The cat is going to climb on me if I let him free. I hope it's not ruining the stream. Oh Lord. I gotta run it a little bit anyway, because I gotta get this on. I gotta record tonight for a video. Let me let this nigga out one more time and see if I can control him. So hold on 1 second.
All right, I'm about to jump into these rich niggas.
I know if I ignore him for long, if I wasn't over here talking, he wouldn't be crying as much. He'd probably go to sleep. I'm sorry.
Good,
you should just do a short of all the cat moments from this be like exposing the real FD signifier, and it's just cat hijinks.
Look, I want to say something too about the rich niggas though. I really gotta get into this specifically because, and I'm not talking like just when I say rich niggas and hip hop and rappers specifically, I'm not talking about niggas getting rich through rap, but like the richest niggas in the game, right? We're talking about motherfucking war criminal buddies, Jay-Z, whether you're talking about sell your homie out as Sean Puffy Combs, whether you're no matter which we're talking about, I vote for Trump, Kanye West, well, any of them, like the mass amount of exploitation of their own people that fundamentally got them into that situation in the first place, right? When you look at the history of like what is Jay-Z's again? Jay-Z's like label shit. Rockefeller.
Dame Dash is a rich nigga. Oh, sorry, what you about to say?
No. But who made it? Who out of who he signed made it versus how many people he exploited with 360s, got hella dough out of them and just dropped them and they didn't go anywhere. Right, same thing like Bad Boy. Who helped made out of Bad Boy? You know what I mean? And the reason that you don't see them make it is not just because they lack talent, it's because they're cash grabs. And they're using them to get get cash out of these artists, using their reputation, but then just leaving the artists behind. Not to mention the whole people as a whole, because I feel like if you come from a community, well, we'll throw Puffy out there because he was bougie anyways before.
But Dame was bougie too. Like Dame was a private school kid. People forget Dame Dash and Stacey Dash's cousin. They came from some type of money over there in New York, and Stacey Dash didn't accidentally end up a Fox News co-host. You know what I'm saying? That was their politics.
See, I know enough about Damon Dash. I know he's supposed to be broke now, though, but
Right. But no, Dame was a Dame. I don't know the full story, but I just know, Dame was not like they wasn't Murder Inc. You know what I'm saying? We're like, what's the Murder Inc. dude's name? I don't know. But Murder Inc. came off drug money, and then Suge Knight, that's drug money. But Dame, they had startup money. You know what I'm saying? They had seed money from Uncle Moneybags or some shit.
Look, let's not talk about why Suge Knight's the most hated motherfucking in hip hop. It ain't because he's actually this horrible motherfucker. That's not why. I'm not saying either. Don't get me twisted. But he isn't as bad. He ain't bad like everybody make him out to be. And the reason they made it out is because he went against like the industry standard, the industry control, and following the way. He like, damn, can you still hear me?
I can still hear you. You just now there's a cat on your screen.
All right, yeah. I mean, dang. The kiss of the cat takeover, apparently.
Right. Feline supremacy.
Oh, shoot, man. Oh.
Can y'all still hear BP? I can still hear him.
Yeah, my camera just lost connection. All right. So it's like when we see these people who make it rich, right? It's all exploitation. We talk about Baby, like a little baby, whatever. Not little baby. What's the name? Yeah,
baby. Just baby. Yeah, just baby.
Baby completely exploited them. There's like rumors that they were using drugs to exploit people. You know what I mean? To be able to get. You all heard about
the weird pedo shit he did to Wayne?
Oh no, I just know what
he got Wayne a prostitute when he was like 12.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that. That's wild. I mean, but at the same time, like, so what'd you expect from that nigga? I don't know who would let that nigga be around his kids, bro. I'm like, yo. Like, that nigga's literally one of them types, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, don't get it wrong. There's hella street niggas. Most street niggas ain't the way they're made out in the movies.
But Baby, some of these niggas is demons.
Baby.
Some of these niggas is monsters. Goblins, for real.
Oh, man. But yeah, no, I mean, it seemed like these different ways people exploit working class folks and also don't feel any drive or reason they should have to give back. Like, well, I made it. Like, we made it because of why? Like, who's supporting you? For especially street niggas, who's supporting you?
Whose bona fides made you even? Because they'll say, "Oh, it's my fans," but like, you couldn't get fans. It's for a time now. After post Drake, like anybody can get a fan if they get a TikTok sound or whatever, right? But like for a long time, you couldn't get a fan base if you didn't have a cosign from the culture. If if they wasn't playing you in strip clubs and in the streets, then you weren't gonna get a stadium packed. You know what I'm saying? They weren't gonna, they weren't gonna play you on hip hop radio. They weren't gonna play you on MTV, and they definitely weren't gonna play you on, pop radio or any type of radio that had a white audience if you did not get a stamp from hip hop culture saying no, he's legit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
And and then they're exploiting that culture as a whole. So you're right. And then the reason why they don't feel, please don't knock over this camera. Okay. People in the chat, I can't wait till you put this up. I don't know what's gonna happen, but we'll see. What was I about to say? The reason why they don't feel beholden to the people, because in their minds being poor is like low-key subhuman. And so the fact that I brought you out of poverty, Wayne, or better yet, Currency, you know what I'm saying, Chris and Neef for Jay-Z, Benny Siegel, the fact that I brought you out the streets in the first place, and they'll say this shit outright. Like you've heard Jay say, I brought Benny out the streets, he ungrateful. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that they even did that in their minds is enough. Even though they're being exploited, even though they made, $50 million off this person in a 10-year period and only gave them 2, So yeah, it is a wild business.
And great, like ungrateful for what? For your networks that you should have been more likely to share with people anyways. Like right. For what? Like, because the thing is that what labor made that? My labor, the engineer's labor, the producer's labor, and we're all getting screwed so you can make $1, right? So it's like, like whose labor really made that shit happen? I gotta thank my engineer, and for me, that's myself. I gotta thank the producer, You know what I mean? What's up, Johnny Tsunami? You know what I mean? Like I got
Right.
you know, but do I have to thank this one rich person who had the funds and networks to be able to make it happen? I mean, I think that's the problem with like not just hip hop, but just all media in general, is because the networks are like, I don't know. I'm actually kind of anti gatekeeper, but I'm like at the same time not, if that makes sense. Like I'm anti gatekeepers like individuals, but I believe in collective gatekeeping.
Hip hop was a resource, and we didn't like hip hop was not just hip hop. Black music was a resource. Because it doesn't start with hip hop. It starts with rock and roll. You know what I'm saying? It starts with jazz. It becomes hip hop was a commodity. You can't. Hip hop was a commodity that Black people controlled. It's the only valuable commodity Black people in the West have ever controlled on any level. And sure, you want to collaborate with labels and whatever else to make things happen, but I can't keep going, man. I'm sorry. But my point I'm trying to get to is that the gatekeepers should have, you should really just watch what I just did with Dr. Ball. He said during the 80s when hip hop was emerging, he said something I thought was really profound. He got it from, I want to shout out Dr. Stephen Burrows, who's quoting him. He said, they thought they were going to win. They thought, like, as hip hop was emerging, young people in the 80s were like, they thought this was it. This was the beginning of like a true breakthrough for Black people as this radical art form took over the country in the 80s, right? And so as they thought they were going to win, they thought like victory was upon them. They kind of slipped, they slipped up and let, the state, the capitalist, whomever you want to call out, take control of the commodity at its core, not like as a distributor, not as a conduit to get it to more people, not like, listen, y'all own the radio stations, y'all play this and we'll come through to y'all stations. They said, how can we get our stuff on your stations? They said, how can we be a part of your label? And when a label said, sign on the dotted line, we'll give you $1 million, but 700,000 of it you got to use to make your album, and 200,000 you got to pay back as a loan. They were like, oh yeah, that's dope. And we got caught up. And it was only the richest niggas, the niggas that were used to this type of game and fuckery and had the levers of capitalism, like access to them on some level, that were able to make it out big, that are able to be billionaires here in 2023. You know what I'm saying? So it's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I think that's why we needed to gatekeep from early on, and still I think we can still redo it. We just have to like actually build a culture around it again, because I think we've lost it. It's becoming too much of a commodity, and I think that'll happen at smaller levels first before it's like a hip hop wide thing. But the thing is, it's our choice, right? It's our choice as a people, and it's I think here's the thing: is if we really start shunning, especially like rappers and artists we don't think should be there, people we don't think are genuine, shunning the industry plants, we can get it again, but we have to choose that. We'll be like, nah. Like, yeah, well, it can be listened to by white people, but we ain't fucking with it. We ain't gonna entertain it. We ain't gonna like promote it. We ain't gonna like put it on our TikToks. We ain't gonna none of that shit. It will die like Vanilla Ice. You know what I mean?
So my only problem I'm more pessimistic. I think Drake signaled the end of our ability to do that. That was my thesis at the end of the Drake video, is that Drake's, like, we tried to do that to Drake. You may not remember because you're a little younger than me, right? But like when Drake started popping, at a certain point, everybody was like, no, this is cute and all, but no. Y'all can let him, do his little stuff. I've got to find your love. Like, yeah, that's cool. But no, not hip hop. And then and this is my thesis from the video. And then Kendrick dropped T-Pab, not even T-Pab, Good Kid, Mad City, and collectively hip hop stood up and pointed and said, right here, this is it. This is what y'all get off the computer. Collectively, hip hop pointed to Drake and said, this is it. This is the future of hip hop. And the media and the white fans and everybody else is like, no, it's Drake. It's Drake. And then they just went on on about their business and acted like they didn't hear us. And maybe if Kendrick would have fought harder for it, that'd have been a different situation. But overall, I think we've lost that power. We can regain that power, right? And I think the backlash to Drake recently and to what's the white dude I call him White Drake, but I couldn't remember. I said his name earlier, and Jack Harlow, and like the backlash to Jack Harlow, like that is indicative of a changing of the tone. The whole conversation about cultural appropriation, which didn't exist when Drake was starting to pop off, and culture vultures, like it's changing. We've seen the results, so now maybe there's a time to get it back. But right now, we legit don't have the power to dictate that, from my perspective.
I don't know. I think part of the problem when it came to Kendrick is it wasn't street niggas. It wasn't the founders of hip hop, people who it came out of, being like, yes. It was like a lot of the same people who were like, yay, Kanye with the college dropout. You feel me? It wasn't. Street niggas were never. You even hear Kendrick talk about it, like he's frustrated because the street niggas aren't embracing him like he wants them to. Because at the end of the day, he's still a street nigga. He's not a Kanye. He's not a, you know what I mean? And I think that's what was his frustration, which, I mean, I understand that. Because I rock with Mad Kid, Good Kid, Mad City. Backwards. Good Kid, Mad City. But honestly, if I'm going to be real, I don't really rock with the stuff that came after that. That was like the last
even so I get the last two, but To Pimp a Butterfly, not a little bit.
I mean, it was cool, but it didn't hit me like I was a Kendrick fan before that. Like Good Kid, Mad City was the last time I was like fucking with Kendrick. Like when Kendrick started blowing up, people were like, "Look, your nigga's blowing up." Like, my nigga, I don't know that nigga. I just fucked with the shit before y'all knew who he was. That's it.
You know what's sad? So you were fucking with Kendrick before you knew who he was. You know who I was the first person on? Like nobody was on him. Fucking Childish Gambino. And I feel so lame for that now because I was a Childish Gambino stan early on. Not really, but I just thought it was interesting, and I knew he was gonna make it. But and I don't. And the quiet as it's kept, I don't hate Childish Gambino. He's just been aside from 70% of Atlanta, the show, he's been disappointing. But yeah.
I mean, Kendrick nowadays, you'd be like Black Hippie. They'd be like, "Who's Black Hippie?" Like, nigga, Black Hippie, TDE, Black Hippie. All right, man, I give up. Like, so it's like a different time period. But after he got the Pimp Butterfly and stuff like that, I was like, I didn't think it was horrible and like anti Kendrick. I just was like, it's not my shebang. And I feel like if there was more of like the streets first, and then went out from there, I think there could be like literally we could reclaim it. But as long as we're gonna be like starting people, the further we are away from the people who founded it, the less likely we're gonna be able to take it back, right? For example, like it's like a bunch of college kids being like reclaim hip hop. It's never gonna hit the same way. In fact, we're all old now, so it really has to be the motherfuckers that are like
it gotta 17, be Hero the Kid. It gotta be
younger than that, man. It's gotta be like 15, 16, 17.
It gotta be. Yeah, okay, I feel you're right. It got to be motherfuckers that we don't even know yet. The motherfuckers watching Think Piece trial. Like Think Piece, I think is like 19. You know what I'm saying? So it got to be the kids watching him.
It's got to be the street kids. You know what I mean? Be like, nah, this is what it is now. You know what I mean? And like, because we're even to be real, we're too old to really be the tastemakers. Period in the story. Like, as much as I'm like buy my CD, I can't. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna be the tastemakers. I'm either gonna be like someone's gonna be like, oh, I fuck with it, or they're gonna not. But I'm never gonna be a tastemaker because that window was when I was 16, 17, 18 years old, right? And I think one of the things a friend of me points out is like hip hop is always gonna be fundamentally street youth culture, and this is fundamentally where it's gonna come from. Street youth culture, like youth in the streets making it happen. You know what I mean? What happened? Well, how hip hop started? Motherfuckers going and stealing shit, being like, well, now I got
rapping about it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like
stealing the shit they needed to rap it.
Yeah, exactly. The blackout, we're gonna go take all that shit. Yeah, we're good. You know what I mean? That's how she started. So if it wasn't for that, you know what I mean? And it stays there, even though the people who were once those youth are now older. It doesn't shift with us as much. I mean, we can have respect, but if we don't have respect from the youngsters, then we're not even relevant anymore. And you see that over and over again. How many old people used to have respect? They're like just now, just old people with the podcasts, like Joe Budden,
right?
being
mad about how hip hop is different,
being grumpy, grumpy. Like back in my day, I'm like, bro, didn't we swear off ever being that motherfucker? How come
it's
everybody
so wild? I can't tell you. I know you're close. You're like in your mid-30s, right?
I'm in my late 30s.
Okay. So you're not that far from me. So yeah, so we just vibe on this. It's so wild hearing my peers get older and conservative and me being the outlier. Like, and so I wouldn't be, I went much further left than most of my peers, right? Because I'm very much, black bourgeoisie born. So I would understand if it was just, a lot of shit lib activity among a lot of my peers, which it is. That's predominantly, people that begrudgingly, voted for Joe Biden, whatever. Like it's normal lib shit. But the amount of like people going further right, and especially in hip hop, that's where they talk about hip hop, new hip hop, to me is so wild because so maybe the ladies are nastier now a little because it's so much more, but none of them are as nasty as Little Kim was. Little Kim's, y'all, young motherfuckers, talk to your, especially you Z's, talk to your Gen X and old millennial parents about the first track on Lil Kim's first album and what that was. I'll give you a hint. It happened in a porn theater. All right. So the idea that people our age are pearl clutching at, like me, like again, shout out to Dr. Ball. Dr. Ball was just like, he said, I don't have an issue with, like it's one thing, like I am not a big, my pussy pink, my booty hole brown, whatever that line is from TikTok. Like I haven't listened to that song. I'm not looking to hear that, right? But it's because I'm 41 and I have like a cat under me. Like clearly I'm no longer the audience for that music. But I love that y'all are the audience for that music. I love that young people are still embracing youth culture and debauchery and getting out there and doing the most, whatever. That's dope. I just don't want to be a part of it because I'm old and can't stay up past 11 o'clock without my back hurting. But people my age, the way they talk about this stuff as if we weren't doing worse. It blows my mind. It blows my mind that the same girls I saw busting it wide open when Back That Ass Up came out in 2001 are pearl clutching at Cardi B in 2021. It blows my mind to have seen it.
I feel like there's class elements to it too, because I feel like a lot of older like poor niggas be selling the shit. Older poor sisters be on selling the shit. They be like, yeah, they be fucking with the new shit. They're like, that's why they just grew up to be the cool parents. You know what I mean? A lot of times or whatever.
That makes sense.
I mean, I just didn't have kids, so I'm not a cool parent. I'm just like the.
Click Big Man Sam real quick. I keep forgetting to bring this up. Oh, you see Big Man Sam?
Oh shit! Where
in the chat?
Big Man, on this one.
Yeah.
Freaknik,
which I am too young for. I did not go to Freaknik. The last Freaknik happened, I think I was like 15, 16 years old. Just want to be clear. But I knew about it. I saw the t-shirts and I saw a couple of the tapes. That is y'all's parents and maybe some of y'all grandparents, the Freaknik generation. I can't wait till that documentary comes out.
I felt robbed. Mardi Gras wasn't the shit. By the time we go, Freaknik isn't happening by the time it's like I actually got to travel. Like I feel robbed. Like all the older people got to do all the fun shit, and then our shit was just like boring, dead.
Yeah.
We were looking up to it, we're looking forward to it, and then it's just gone by the time we get there. We're like, oh.
Atlanta used to be different, and then Ray Lewis stabbed a nigga in Buckhead is the joke. I don't know if you know that story. Ray Lewis, the football player, who's also now like a conservative Christian type dude. His rookie year in the NFL, somebody in his entourage murdered a nigga, stabbed him to death in Buckhead, which is like this wild party area. And like after that, they shut Buckhead down. And now it's like Lily White, you know, the only place where there's multi-million, not the only place multi-million-dollar homes. I don't know. Anyway, we need to wrap up so I can, because otherwise I am going to, but I want to make sure we get to whatever I want to make sure we hit all the things you had in mind.
I mean, at this point, I really just like BS. I mean, talking about like, I mean, really, I think we covered mostly everything about rich niggas and like their interaction with it. But also, it's like, you know, I think we touched on the thing that I really wanted to hit on, which was the fact of holding people. And I maybe we should end with it, go touch back on it, like holding people accountable with being authenticity, sorry, for their authenticity, or and then to fraudulent. You know what I mean? I don't think we should be like, as artists, supporting rich motherfuckers that don't support the community they came from. We shouldn't be supporting motherfucking rappers who sit there and talk about shit they don't do and that they ain't loyal to. Not just don't do, but aren't loyal to, right? If you talk about the streets, be loyal to your street niggas. If you talk about revolutionary shit, be about that revolutionary shit. Be loyal to your community, you know what I mean? But not just like capping, you know what I mean? Not just like making $1. And I don't know. I think that's the main point I wanted to get out of it. But, you know, and then also we got to stop looking up to these. I don't know if you agree with me, but we got to stop looking up to these idols, because these idols, I mean, they're all just people at best and snakes at worst. Snakes at worst. You know what I mean? A lot of snakes out here. So, like, you know what I mean? Just, yeah.
If y'all can see this cat's face as it is just, y'all hear this?
I can't hear the purring. The cat was like, I was gonna be a star and I knew it, so I had to get on the camera. You know?
Speaking of the streets, like literally, we pulled up from going to get coffee in the morning, and I get out my car and I hear meows. And we've had plenty of strays run around, you know, come through our crib. But this is the first one that was like, no, this is it. I'm here for you. You're here for me. You go ahead, start the process. Go ahead, call the vet. Like, he's just so friendly, and now it's like he's been here the whole time. He's asleep in my arms. And about this time last year, my other cat died after 18 years, and so to get like a nice young kitty, it's a little nice. Your boy's happy. It's brought a lot of joy to the household in the last couple of days.
It's toxoplasmosis. It just got in your brain.
It is like, check my Instagram for this picture. This like simp ass picture I had to post because it was the most. We had just given him his last flea bath, and I was like, okay, I guess you can stay now. As we commemorated it, but fuck, we talking about? See, that's how it is. When you talking about revolution, I'm like, yeah, but look at this cat.
Hey, man, there was a cat we should look at more that was about revolution. It was called a Black Panther. No, black.
My other cat was a black cat. Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you. The thing I wanted to respond to was looking up to him is really a thing we got to contribute to, is raising the critical consciousness of the consumer base so that they demand more and call out people more when X doesn't happen, when X, Y, and Z doesn't happen. So like, I'm happy that Jay-Z got the pushback he did when he said capitalist is the new N-word. And I'm happy that even my more conservative, moderate peers are dragging Killer Mike for filth here in Atlanta. It hasn't hit the radio yet. I'm waiting to see, because Mike, you know, his name rings bells. He's really out here in Atlanta. And so I'm waiting to see if this reaches enough. But I doubt it, because like, I don't think, you know, the way these networks work, but we'll see. You know, and I'm happy about a lot of these aspects that are slightly changing. I'm happy that people made fool with White Drake. I can't remember his name again. I'm not gonna bother this time. Like, there is, you know, a value. You know, Twitter is not a good place, but it is useful for stirring some shit and spreading useful ideas in between all the fuckery. And like, I know part of those responses are a response to social media outrage against the Jay-Z, against the Killer Mike, so on and so forth. And so it's about like amplifying that, you know, it's about amplifying that, but also still showing love to the babies. And that's the thing that I've always been a big proponent of, is that one of the reasons why I think we're in the position we're in terms of hip hop, as the older generation is looking at the younger generation and what they're doing as if they weren't under our supervision. You know what I mean? Like, we have to own that hip hop is in the state it's in, because that's the state we left it in. Period. And the same thing with the old heads, and that's what Jab said to me. You know, as a golden age day one hip hop head, like we didn't say it like completely, so I may be putting some words in his mouth, but he did like address the fact that hip hop and like the culture is what it is, in part because this is how it was left to the generation that inherited it, you know? And so we also have to then have empathy for the state it's in, and then be ready to, you know, one of my videos that I think I left up when King Von died, I didn't know King Von was a supposed, I don't like calling him a serial killer. I think that's kind of gross, but like, I didn't know he was out here really like murdering niggas supposedly. But even still, there's still a tragedy to the way he died and the life he was in. And my cry at the end of it was like, y'all, you know, all y'all old niggas are you know, shitting on the youth and downplaying the youth and talking about how bad their behavior is. Get in there and do something. Like, talk to these boys, you know, go put in the work. It's not going to happen because you yell at them, you know, but it is what it is.
I mean, I think one of the things that happens is our elders die, the elders inherit everything, and they complain about it. So like, like there's always this saying like elders versus elders. Like, there's elders and there's elders. Mm. The elders get killed, right? And so I think that's what happened a lot with hip hop. I think it was happened a lot with our community in general. A lot of elders got killed or incarcerated, and then the people who just exploited a lot and got a lot of profit off of all that shit are the ones that are left. And like, oh, you youngsters acting a fool. And it's like, bro, come on, man. Like,
what if Pac is still alive? What if Big L is still alive? What if Lauryn Hill didn't leave the game? You know, so yeah, that makes sense.
What if all the people that were like the real ass ones that didn't, there's a ton of real ones that didn't get picked up either. So what about if all of them became the elders that they had potential to be? You know, I mean, there's a lot of things that didn't happen, and I think there's part of it's like semi COINTELPRO-ish. Now, I'm not say it's COINTELPRO, but esque.
Don't know. This dude just farted in my face, and then stood up like, why you move?
Oh, damn. Cat farts can be the raunchiest too.
They are the worst. You're too young to smell like that. Go on.
I guess just shout outs. Yeah, as I'm about to say, shout outs and wrap it up. So I want to say, FD, you want to shout out like some of your stuff that's coming up real quick?
Shout out to so the anime video, which probably most of you who have watched this probably already seen. I'm doubling up in August. So because the video we talked for is I want to do some on-site shooting. There's actually a federal prison not too far from me that I want to try to shoot in front of a little bit, but I'm low-key scared because shit is hot out here and I don't know the legality. I feel like it's low-key not legal to shoot in front of a prison.
So it's not. I don't know about anybody getting incarcerated for it or anything, but state prisons is legal, federal prisons is illegal.
Okay. What if I just film it?
Yeah, it's technically illegal, but I don't think. Okay. I mean, I think I've never heard of anybody getting arrested, but they might come after you.
They're definitely arresting niggas. Like, you know what you saw. You know what they did to the people a little while ago. So I'm not trying to bring no more heat. I'm legit scared. I mean, I shouldn't be scared. But like, you can't help but be a little scared the way motherfuckers are moving right here.
If it's a state facility, it's usually covered under like your rights to shoot and stuff. But feds have some weird laws.
It's a federal. It's not too far from the Cop City site. It's a federal, a big, huge federal pen that was just on the news like a couple of years ago for being all the worst things about a prison adjacent. Anyway, so that's the end of August. So at the beginning of August. So I don't have to take a huge hit on my AdSense checks because I need it because I'm doing a video essay. So look out for that in about 2 weeks, God willing. And that's pretty much it. You know, check me out, Signifier, B-sides, all that good stuff.
And anybody who likes Overthrow Media and like what we have here, make sure to hit subscribe if you're not. Like this video, share, and all that good stuff. But also, I got a video either coming out this week or next week. I'm late to the game like always. Y'all know how I am. But we can go on TYT a little bin real quick and get in on them, and then afterwards, the week after that, we should be able to finally drop the video talking about the Beaumont prison and how it got flooded in the hurricane, and like how they just kind of like were like didn't care at all, and we're just gonna let people drown, and yeah. So we're gonna get into that deep, and the episode after that, I'm gonna try to be more consistent. Sorry, y'all, I'm bouncing around. I just got back to Seattle, so I'm bouncing around couch surfing right now. So it's a little hard to do stuff, but I'm gonna try to amp up my output. I know it's been a second since y'all seen me, so yeah.
Dope.
Thanks for rocking
All
me,
right,
FT,
y'all.
and we about to get the fuck out of here. Love y'all. Be safe. Deuces. Oh, in broadcast now. Oh, then like